was the final witness in order to testify about the original trials in the case. The Fairbanks 4 cases were broken up into 3 trials, one of which tried 2 of the men together. But it was the gathering of witness testimony that has been at question during this hearing.
We discuss it, and we'd let people know about it, and then we'd go forward. But if their testimony was going to be totally different, then we'd tell them that there are consequences that could come because of that.
In particular, allegations from what the state has called their star witness, Arlo Olson. Olson in these proceedings claimed he was coerced into testimony that was not what he originally reported to FPD Detective Aaron Ring shortly after the Hartman homicide.
We reviewed and I believe Detective Ring was with me, that we reviewed his statement at that time to make sure he was, if you will, sort of tuned up with respect to testimony, it being better part of 2 years after the fact, or a year and a half after the fact.
Olson says he tried to recant his statements on multiple occasions. He also claims that he would study the materials, including transcripts, for hours at the district attorney's office. It
was typically police report, grand jury, whatever you said someplace, if I've got it, you've got it, read it over, think about it, study it if you need to, let's talk about it. That's what I intend to ask you questions about.
O'Brien today said between trials, Olson was becoming more reluctant to take the stand.
He basically did not want to testify and was saying things that would hopefully get me to agree that he didn't have to testify.
The evidence hearing, part of the procedure, is officially wrapped as of this afternoon after over 4 weeks of full-day proceedings. Closing arguments are scheduled to be presented on Tuesday morning. This is Stephanie Woodard reporting.
The Fairbanks North Star Borough Assembly gathered to discuss a number of issues after a Finance Committee meeting last night. Borough Clerk Nancy Ashford Bingham walked Assembly members through the process of electing a new presiding officer. The top position, which oversees borough meetings, became vacant as Carl Castle was elected borough mayor. Diane Hutchison and John Davies were nominated to serve as presiding officers. Castle's vacant Assembly seat will also be up for election. The deadline to register as a candidate for that role is next Monday at 5 p.m. Borough Assembly members commented on presentations made Wednesday by bidders for the Interior Energy Project late in the meeting. Most who spoke agreed upon the usefulness of the town hall event, but say they were disappointed not all finalists were present.
I think it would have been more useful to get some good questions from the audience, for limited to 10 minutes or 15 minutes per group. I was disappointed that Hillcorp didn't bother to show up. I asked Bob Shefchuk if that was a message from them, and he wasn't sure.
A former Bethel police officer has been charged with attempted sexual assault and official misconduct. The charges come from the State Office of Special Prosecutions. 23-year-old Aaron Fadolfi was accused of attempting to sexually assault an individual who was in his custody on September 12th. Fadolfi is currently at large and a warrant has been issued for his arrest. Individuals with knowledge of his whereabouts or any of his alleged conduct should contact Sergeant Teague Widmar at the Alaska State Trooper Post in Bethel, 907-543-2294. When we come back, the Fairbanks Rescue Mission has helped countless people turn their lives around. Tonight, you'll hear from one lady and her story. Also, this weekend promises to be a perfect opportunity for shopping for those special Christmas gifts, but also helping raise scholarships and contribute to the community. Stay with us. And welcome back. The state of Alaska has joined a lawsuit to get a road open between King Cove and Cold Bay. The state said it has long supported the King Cove residents in their attempts to build a gravel road through the Eisenbach Wildlife Refuge to provide safe land transport to the airport. The King Cove Corporation has requested the road for decades because of problems with Medivacs. Congress passed legislation authorizing the land swap for the road for health and safety purposes in 2009, but Interior Secretary Sally Jewell declined the exchange in December of 2013.
At 6:30 this morning, we had another medevac and had Coast Guard assist this morning because the weather's extremely bad. And, that puts us today at 32 medevacs and 11 now, and that involved the Coast Guard since Secretary Jewell made her decision a couple of years ago in December.
The Fairbanks Rescue Mission has a number of programs that helps residents get back on their feet. Sarah Dubowski reports on one of them.
The Genesis program at the Fairbanks Rescue Mission helps people from the interior get off drugs and alcohol, something they've done for years. Kathy Ramadar came to the mission when she was at her lowest point.
It was like 2010, and I had been drinking and driving, and I had a major crash, and that's when everything spiraled downhill really fast for me. I called my daughter here, and I was ready to quit because I knew I was going to die. This place, the minute I walked in the door, people were hugging on me and said, you know, we're glad you're here.
I remember going up to her room, and she was sitting on her bed, not quite sure what she was doing. She was so far from home. She was really scared, but you know, I encouraged her that you know, with God all things are possible.
Kathy started the faith-based Genesis program, which is a residential recovery and relapse system that takes 8 months or longer to complete. After finishing the program, Kathy returned to her home to find her husband had ended the relationship. Devastated, Kathy relapsed, slipping back into the addiction and returned to the mission.
Relapse is a part of recovery, you know, and she did relapse, you know, a few times, but you know what? She got back up and she didn't give up.
Kathy has been sober since July 26, 2013, and recently married her new husband, Rick.
The miracles today. I have a life beyond anything that I've ever dreamed of. My children are part of my life again. I can babysit my grandkids, and it's all because he put me here at the mission when I was at the lowest point of my life. And he knew that he had a plan for me, and it wasn't death. And it wasn't living a life of being a drunk all the time.
Sarah Dabowski reporting.
The University Women's Association is raising money for college scholarships and donating to community projects through its holiday bazaar this weekend. The association is celebrating 47 years organizing the annual event. This Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., nearly 100 vendors will be available to share their local products to the public. The bazaar features handcrafted and artistic creations from Alaska artists. The event is free of charge for visitors. All proceeds go towards University of Alaska scholarship awards and local projects. Holiday Bazaar Chairwoman Pat Ivey says the University Women's Association typically raises over $10,000 at the event.
People can see there is the creativity that comes out of the woodwork for this bazaar, and I'm all continuously astounded at the artists and craftspeople that we do have. The place is usually packed both days, so we've had an enormous turnout.
Joe Cook is up next and has a full recap of last night's huge victory for the Alaska Nanook volleyball team as they take down the top team in conference. All that and more, plus the play of the week after the break.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Time to get the weekend started right with your local Friday Sportscast. I'm Joe Cook. The Alaska Nanook volleyball team pulled off the upset of the year in the Patty Center on Thursday night. If you missed it, don't worry because we got you covered. Alaska hosting the Northwest Nazarene Crusaders, the top team in the GNAC. First two sets were as tight as it gets, but the Nooks were tougher. Then Alaskan Winter, Lila Hudson, and Maddie Davis get the block at the net here to give UAF a 26-24 win in the opening set. Set two was just as intense. Hudson provides another block. The Crusaders can't return. UAF wins 27-24. The Crusaders fought back in the third. Maddie Farrell had 11 kills and 7 blocks for NNU as they win set 3 25-18 and set 4 25-20 to stay alive and force the fifth and final set. Alaska was not deterred. Miranda Greaser was in the zone, setting 74 assists. Sam Hartoon benefited as she went crazy to the tune of 40 kills, a new career high. They needed them all as they trailed 3-7 in the fifth, but they battled back. Riley Podevich also had a clutch play down the stretch. She had a career high 13 kills and it gave Alaska a 15-14 lead in the fifth. Then Davis, she comes through with the match point, one of her career high 17 kills, and this one is over. Alaska wins a 5-set thriller over the Crusaders, a signature win for the program.
I mean, I was telling the team, I got chills. It was like slow motion watching that ball drop, and I can't, there's no words to describe it. probably proudest moment for me.
I never had any moments where I felt like it was slipping away. Even in the sets we lost, I still felt good about it. I still felt like we were competing.
I was brand new to the system and the program last year, and then just working together, I think the connection's just been a lot better there.
Nothing like kids that are just willing to fight like these guys are willing to fight. And if we continue to do that, we're going to be in it all the time.
With the win, Alaska has won 3 matches in a row, the longest win streak since 2009. It's also the first win over Nazarene since 2009. Hartoon's career-high 40-kill game was 4 kills away from the single-game program record. Greaser's 74 assists were 5 shy of the single-game program record. Maddie Davis had a career-high 20 digs and 17 kills for her first career double-double. Alaska has won 3 5-set matches, which is the most since 2008. The Nooks are now 5-17 overall and 5-10 in the GNAC. They are 2 games out of the 6th seed. Playoffs? Maybe so. Alaska hosts second-place Central Washington tomorrow at 2 o'clock. In Ohio, the Nanook rifle team won their matchup against the Akron Zips. Junior Sagan Madalena led the Nanooks to a 4-6-6-1 4.598 tally over Akron. Madalena won the air rifle event, shooting a .597, 3 shots from her perfect score. She was also second in small bore with .581. Her total score was the match best. Senior Tim Cherry won small bore with .584. Alaska took 4 of the top 5 spots in both disciplines. Zach Strahl placed for the Zips in both events. UAF freshman J.T. Shearing, sophomore Luke Johnson, and senior Jamie Barnes also placed in the top 5 for Alaska. The Nanooks are now 3-0, and they will put their win streak at number 2 ranking on the line in Saturday's Zippy Open. Alaska will shoot against number 4 Murray State, number 5 Kentucky, and rival number 1 West Virginia. Going to prep sports as we get results from hockey rinks in Anchorage. West Valley starts the year 2-0 as they defeat Chugiak 4-2 on Thursday night. Gabe Rankin led the pack with a goal and 2 helpers, and Caleb Moritz scored twice. The Wolfpack will face Diamond tonight in Wasilla on Saturday. Speaking of Diamond, they dismantled the Lathrop Malamute 7-1. Lathrop loses their season opener, but Corey Miskovich provided the goal for Lathrop. The Malamutes will take on Colony tonight and Bartlett on Saturday. The official end of the high school football season concludes, as always, with end-of-the-year awards. For the large schools all-state teams, Lathrop's Ji Zhang was named Lineman of the Year for his production on the offensive and defensive lines for Lathrop. Detrell Hartney is a first-teamer at defensive end, and Scott McKinstry was a first-team middle linebacker for the Mutes. R.J. Henry, Garius Maiden, and Anthony Hautal were second-team picks. The West Valley Wolfpack had 6 players on the second all-state team: Brandon Joyner, Elijah Blackweasel, Jordan Silver, Gideon Cole, Jake Foshie, and Jonas Post. And we wrap up the Friday Sportscast with the play of the week. After scoring 15 goals in their last series, the Ice Dogs give us the POTW. The play comes from last Friday night's 8-3 win over the Johnstown Tomahawks. Adam Clevin gets the puck and chucks a beautiful pass from his own zone to a streak, and Caden Cahill who buries the goal. Beautiful play from the Ice Dogs, and it's the play of the week. To pick the next POTW, watch for the I-5 Interior Top 5 plays on Mondays during the weekend recap. And that's it for sports tonight. Thanks for watching. Mike Schultz is next with your full weekend weather forecast. And as always, we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into our Friday night newscast. Mike Schultz with you once again. We're talking about the weather. We're talking about light snow throughout the day all across the interior. That's going to continue overnight, it looks like. Then slowly taper off tomorrow. But the rest of the weekend is going to be kind of chilly, too. Our photograph night sent in by Jesse Whitmore. A creek just about frozen. You can see the ice just about there. There's still some water running, but again, a beautiful color photograph there sent by Jesse. And again, thanks to Jesse and folks, if you have a photograph you want to share, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. Here's your numbers. Actually, we'll talk about numbers just a little bit. A reminder that we do have our new Fab Photo Calendar out right now. It's got some great photographs from all the photos you folks have sent in. And it's free. You can't beat that. That's a good Christmas present, a little stocking stuffer. And to find out where the locations are, go to our website, webcenter11.com, and we'll tell you just exactly where you can pick them up at. All right, here's the numbers right now. Today's high 28, the low last night 23. The record high is 36 in 2002, down to 37 below in 1907. And our sunrise and sunset, about 7 hours and 18 minutes of daylight. That's a loss of 6 minutes from yesterday. The satellite once again showing a little area of low pressure moving across the Gulf of Alaska into the Prince William Sound area. That's a favorite spot for Anchorage to get a little snow. It's not quite big enough to give us anything, but we're still looking at a little bit of moisture coming down from the north across the Fairbanks area, as you can see here. And another storm system on the horizon that'll be affecting us probably Sunday night into Monday. Now, as far as our latest radar, as you can zoom in, you can see just about most of it is moving down to the south of us. We're still going to get some little pockets of moisture still moving around and give us a little light snow throughout the evening and again through tomorrow morning. Then it'll be fizzling out by then. Here's what's going on across the rest of the state. As you can see over southeast Alaska, a little rain around the Juneau area, 42 degrees there. Showers in Ketchikan, 43. There wasn't any snow in Anchorage, surprisingly, 37 degrees. And Kodiak, clear skies for the most part, 43. Cloudy skies along the Aleutian Chain at Cold Bay. And for Bethel, 33 degrees, while Nome a little bit cooler, 30 degrees. Even colder north of the Brooks Range with Barrow checking in at 16 and Fort Yukon cloudy and 25. Lower 48 weather, not much change from yesterday. Once again, the western side of the country looking at cooler temperatures, 60 degrees, showers all day long around the Seattle area. And another cool day in Las Vegas, 65 degrees, a little warmer in Phoenix. Dallas at 70 degrees, chilly in Denver, 46, Salt Lake City also 46. They're all looking for snow later on this weekend as that cooler air moves in across the country. And thunderstorms once again widespread from eastern Texas through the Gulf Coast states, well, up to the northeast, temperatures in the mid-70s to even 80 degrees. On our satellite and radar, you can see that frontal system that caused the widespread thunderstorm activity moving across the deep south. Another system moving across the central plains helping to kick up the possibility of a little freezing precipitation. And on the west coast, things are dry right now, but more rain is expected. As you can see, it's expected to spread in across from the Pacific Northwest all the way down to almost Northern California. And the overall jet stream, once again, taking a little bit of a change, taking a dive early next week, which means that'll help pull that cold air in and give the possibility of snow to a lot of areas of the Rockies. Well, over to the northeast, it looks like milder temperatures expected there. Okay, now is what's going on as far as our forecast for tomorrow for the northern sections of Alaska. Blowing snow at Barrow, cloudy skies with rain later in the Nome region, and snow expected for Fort Yukon with 1 to 2 inches of accumulation. Here in the interior, we'll be looking at mainly snow slowly ending at Fairbanks and Healy, but it'll be continuing around the Delta Junction area, and temperatures in the low to mid-20s. Over the southeastern sections, well, more rain expected. Periods of rain in Juneau, scattered showers for Ketchikan, temperatures in low to mid-40s. Over the southwest part of the state, snow likely for Bethel, but rain showers in Cold Bay, and windy and rainy at Kodiak. Kind of blustery conditions there. While over the south central regions, it looks like partly cloudy skies in Anchorage, mostly sunny skies for Homer, and scattered rain showers at Valdez. Well, it's a Friday night. You know what that means? That means it's time for our Winter Trails Report, brought to you by the good folks at Beaver Sports. Well, light snow is going to be adding a few inches to the total on the ground. It's good enough for sledding, but not quite good enough for any skiing, obviously. But in the snow machining, that's a little bit of danger right now too. And again, beware of thin ice on the ponds and lakes, so keep that in mind. Here's what's going on in our forecast. 20 degrees for the overnight low, periods of light snow, 1 to 2 inches possible. Tomorrow's forecast, morning snow tapering off by afternoon, mid-25, or mid-20s, I should say, for the high. And the extended forecast, there comes the cold air. And look at that, a -5 figure for Wednesday night into Thursday, with off and on snow expected in the forecast, but temperatures definitely cooling down. First time I had to put up a minus figure for the year, and it's just a kind of an indication that we are heading toward a colder regime.
Yeah, I guess it's...
He's not too happy about that.
No. Lasted as long as it could last.
Right. But remember, we've already had our -1.
Yep,
so,
last Saturday.
Yeah, so it's already here.
Yeah.
We just got to get used to it. Okay, that'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Well, tonight on NBC 90 News, what it will mean to you if the Federal Reserve decides to raise the interest rate in December. It's been a long time since they've done that. That's up next with Lester Holt.
And Saturday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here at KTVF, we will air a special program that originally aired on our sister station, KTUU, about the Fairbanks 4. We hope this will provide background for the current ongoing trial.
All right, from all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.
Good night.